Ooh, that damage struck the perfect guard. That might come back to bite him later. He's thinking about guarding.
Well, in the era of Legion, guarding early is not a punishable offense anymore.
I'm not even sure he's afraid of getting critted. I think he's more doesn't want his opponent to plus thanks to Judge Bell.
So he's trying to dodge that.
It's like he didn't have enough guard in hand to do it.
Well, 5k power for extra defense keeps that 10k off his back. But those two grade 1 calls is going to really hurt quite a bit. I didn't know how good Judge Val was. That's pretty insane.
It's kind of broken in my opinion. Because it doesn't even specify if you have to call Avengers.
Just grade 1s, period.
Yep, grade 1 to less.
Wow.
You right to the breakout?
So to go ahead and welcome the shots. Solid heal trigger, evens up everything else, but that 5k defense is always relevant.
He also put the trigger to his rear guard, so it evens it up. It's just that if neither ever happened.
Just cancel each other out. I believe he's still going to guard accordingly, since he's... Once again, luxury of Legion. You can block as much as you want.
I think he's more prepping for Legion than any other thing at this point.
Gotta make sure you have your triggers and
Looks
ready
like
for that.
Abyss coming. Snipe. His starter. Ooh, Brian is going to hurt that.
He's definitely going to miss that, since that's a big ending for his actually getting these draws off.
He's thinking about, do I want to give him the big guy?
Oh, that's a double crit.
Ooh, puts him at a clean 5 damage.
That's a solid 20 over there. Unboosted. Plus extra. Well, at least that puts the break right on.
Online. Ooh, with the Legion too.
Break right Legion. This mate's can
Can Brian push for game right here?
I wonder if a Great Nature has the ability to put someone from 2 to 6. I've never seen it happen before.
There's always first everything in the Vanguard.
Never count someone out, right? All I need is a good couple of triggers and it's over with.
The feeling I have is he's still, the Shadow Paladin player is still going to know guard a lot, just because of the fact he wants to break guard.
The question becomes how much damage is he willing to eat in order to get there, because he might be sitting at 5 when his whole thing's over with.
I'm not sure from this read, but it doesn't look like the Shadow Paladin player has a perfect guard in hand.
He's missing a trigger. Legion's gonna swing in for some good numbers.
Double crit here wins it. First check? Nope. Doesn't get it.
Strong 1 damage.
And a draw trigger.
Solid. Now what happens here is that there's going to be a whole lot of eating and drawing.
Oh, plus 3 cards to hand. Wow.
No, it gets worse.
But he's searching for something else. Oh, and he unflips the damage.
It's quite the janky scenario when that Break Right Legion takes place. It's almost like he goes up almost a good 4 to 6 cards. He's going to attack with his own Break Right Legion.
Yes, but at this point, he has awkward columns because he has the 3 necessary to sack for the skill, but it would be a 10k attacker and a whole column.
And again, oh man. Either way, he's already at 5 damage. You can't afford to eat any of this. But once again, he drew quite a few cards off his Break Right Legion, so he's probably ready for the long weather all of this.
Like he decided to attack with both columns first. If I remember right, that's a solid, what, 32 at the Vanguard, thanks to the breakout?
I believe so. It's quite the number unboosted, which is just terrifying to think about. And even if he guards this,
Christopher Nye.
He lived.
Yeah.
Sacks 3.
question is, does he live past the second swing of this? Because now this is a boosted column.
Perfect guard.
Just enough.
Supposed buying to drop his entire hand though.
Which means he needed every single draw that he got.
Oh, and a heel trigger. At least at this point, he no longer has to worry about him relegioning and using the skill. Looks like Robbie has at least 10 cards in here.
He's nowhere near as worried. It's terrifying because there's quite a few triggers in there.
Perfect guard. Brian is facing an uphill battle at this point.
You know what's scary is he guarded all of that and it still feels like he has a full hand of tricks to use. Well, on the same token, he has no counterblast, so...
Oh, he unflips one.
I forgot Shadows have that ability. It's quite a terrifying scenario.
It's pretty much the only reason people still run the regular Blast of Dark Revenger with Dorian, just so he can unflip damage.
It's quite a scenario. I think Brian's conceding to go ahead and taking the 6 damage and hoping for a heal.
No, looks like he's just gonna have to take the Vanguard. Oh. Nope, he falls to the rear guard. And Robbie gets game 2.
Nothing says excitement like a game 3 though, because both the opponents feeling good about getting one out the way. It's a matter of who closes it out from here.
After the breakout turn from Robbie, Brian really didn't have the cards he needed to come back from that.
It's because all the cards he gained from his Breakaway Legion were used in order to prevent him from losing out on that last push. And even after that, he had 2 cards left on the initial push while he was still staring down at least 6 to 8 cards in Robbie's hand. Of the which there was Masquerades and a Blast Dark Revengers for unflipping. It was almost nothing left he could have did except take that 6 and pray for a heal.
In Legion format, that is much more common though.
Making on the heal coming through?
No, actually getting the heal.
Well, if you got more than 16 triggers in your deck, you're bound to hit the heal more often than not, right?
In Legion format, I wouldn't even say it's 16 because almost every time you Legion, you put back majority triggers. So I would say it's easily 24 triggers in your deck if you Legion more than once.
24, not even counting any perfect guards that are going in. It's quite a terrifying scenario, but on the same token, it lets you be a little more free with your guard.
It really does.
Because used to be a time where, like I said...
This also encourages people to run more critical triggers to me because they're going to get them back into the deck.
So it rewards people for being reckless and aggressive. Quite the mulligan from Brian. Looks like he put back...
Brian put back almost his entire hand. He kept 1 card. He rides the perfect guard.
Wait for the early punch.
One passes him. He gets the critical.
That's always a downer.
Oh, no, he didn't one pass. He must have got a trigger.
No, that was a complete no fast on his regard. That was a 10K. He dropped down for that in order to prevent that call from hitting as he should have.
Jaw trigger. The pluses.
One thing I'm noticing about Robbie's build is that he seems to, I guess he wants to have as much hand as possible going through his plays. Would you say that's a Shadow Paladin tactic, is to always have a whole lot of hand in the at their disposal, or is that more so you think it's just a unique tech on his behalf? Definitely something to think about.
I think this is a good matchup based on the case that both decks have a pretty well-balanced draw power engine. Great nice draw power engine. And then Robbie's running the Sword Breakers, and with the Legion by itself, it pluses your hand.
So in theory, it becomes a war of attrition then, really, who hits harder for... So it's really a battle of rear guards, if I'm thinking about it correctly.
Ooh, the sniper game by Robbie.
He's making sure that starter remains nowhere near the field. Plus an unflip. It's almost like he got it for free. Refusing to take that next damage, he goes ahead and heads on into right 3 land perhaps.
Oh no.
That is quite the depressing scenario.
It looks like Brian is gate stuck.
Quite a bane of existence for a lot of card fighters at the moment. Just the notion that you couldn't go to your next grade and you have to wait patiently until it comes to you. It puts him quite behind the 8 ball. Not to mention, with the amount of hand that's already been garnished, it's just adding weight on top of an already sinking scenario.
This is why so many people are so excited for the GS6 mechanic to come out. To put an end to this.
To end the notion of being grade stuck.
On the plus side of things, his opponent cannot Legion since he is not a grade 3.
I wonder if you count your blessings in that regard, as opposed to the heal coming through, so it's gonna give him some time to wait for this to appear. There's no way he's getting out of this unscathed. He's going to be taking at least 2 hits here.
Swing to 3 hit.
Because he doesn't want to take that judge battle. But on the same token, he's grade stuck, so the hand that you have is even smaller than it should be.
He decided to no guard. On the plus side, he drew into one of his judge brows, which means he can only get... he drew into one of his Black Wing Sword Breakers. So on the plus side, he can't plus as much as he wants to.
Okay, so he's missing his maximum plus on this regard just because he happened to have it in hand first. Got away with 1 damage.
Oh, and he gets
But that hand is severely weakened.
He rides to grade 3.
Well, he wasn't there for long, so it's a good sign that was a case in point that he got to the grade 3.
He no guards. But Robbie heals.
This is a game of triggers indeed.
Sniping rear guard again.
I feel like that's like the one standing point that I appreciate about the Shadow is just their ability to just wreak havoc on their opponent's side of the field without even taking a swing. Of course, he was waiting for him to get to that 3, so the Legion would be online. He rethinks that attack and he wants to go to the rigor because he'll move the attack on the field because he has to eat one of those. And
very good choice. So now he gets the full attack amount with a 4-power 16K column, but he can still sack off the booster. Century Legion this turn.
Draw trigger adds a little bit.
Another draw trigger. Oof.
That is how you garner hand. Double draw.
I'll wait. You gotta go get the car. I'm not walking.
Not to mention the fact that he's getting ready to drive check again. This is about to be quite the hand advantage. Not to mention that great suck really puts him behind the 8 ball.
He no guards again. That's probably the best scenario with that. He only took 2 damage.
If you notice, he actually drew into the crit, so he actually managed to dodge some damage by him going through double draw that turn, so he actually saved a little bit of trouble on that.
Brian is trying to figure out if he wants to do big guard now.
Holy heck. That's
looks like Brian has about 12 or 14 cards in here. Well, I'm sorry, Robbie.
That's quite
and
the
he
hand.
break guards over break guard. He dropped his hand.
Sometimes you need to do it.
And he perfect guards.
Must be nice to have choices on whether you use a card in your left or a card in your right in a 13 card hand.
And he takes 2 damage. Oh, he takes 2 damage.
Yeah, I checked the crit and passed it. He's picking up some cards for
Brian draws 2. Look like he
Kinda
gets to
blast
search his
and-
deck too.
Wasn't as much plus he could have garnered, but once again, given the fact that he's behind, sometimes you gotta take what you can get, and that's a lot of what
He
Vanguard
went
is
from
about.
0 hand to 5 hand in a single turn. But he Robbie adds another Phantom Blaster, which he does. That might be the game, folks.
At this point, it's a matter of time as opposed to how and when this happens. Would you say that him getting pushed and stuck in grade 2 for a turn really cost them this game?
I really would. Grade Sec is, I wouldn't say a major problem in Vanguard, but it definitely makes the game very much so one-sided. Oh, the Masquerade.
I feel like he's determined to take on the Vanguard head on. Unless he has a perfect art in hand, he's going to have to weather this. The first hit most likely, and the second hit's probably the one he fights off. Quite the pickle.
What would you do in this situation?
Honestly, I'd take the first, and if I have enough to guard the second, I'd guard the second.
I agree with
Because
that.
it's going to restand, and it's going to swing hard with the extra booster attached.
Oh,
Because I will bank on triggers, because what that means is that whatever's left in my hand has to
heal
hold up.
trigger. Ooh.
The rich get richer.
I think he plans on. Oh, and it broke it. He only one past him.
He doesn't have enough to weather the second hit. That must have been the best he could have did.
And there's the crit. Oh, there's the double crit. Oh, jeez.
Talk about salt on the wound. That's the
Looks
game.
like
Same
Robbie
match.
gets the match.
You know, a costly time stack will do that to you sometimes.
Alright, that was our conclusion of our first top 8 match. We should be moving on to our top 4 very shortly. for you guys. I think some of the matches are just finishing up right now. Thanks, my guys, for commentating so far. You guys doing a great job. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back to you guys in just a little bit. So thank you guys for tuning in, for watching ARG's Car 5 Vanguard tournament.